Hello, everyone. Have you ever heard of the term the magic if? The magic if. Actually, a term coined by Konstantin Stanislavski. So who's Konstantin Stanislavski? You may never have heard of him, but I bet you if you had ever studied acting or been involved in theater for a long time, you have heard of Konstantin Stanislavski from Russia. He coined that term, and what it means is, what if you were in the background experience, all of the given circumstances of your character? What if you, or me, Dennis, was in those situations? How would I react? How would I think? How would I feel? How would I behave? So it was part of what's called the method of physical action that you may be aware of as the method. The method is, the technique that actors would use, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Marlon Brando, many modern actors, to be able to learn to embody the character psychologically, physically, in every way possible by being able to get into the mind of the character using the magic if. My question to you is, what if we used the magic if in order to start to recreate our experiences in this life? What do I mean by that? What if you learned to take a step and consider the circumstances that you want to step into without thinking in a negative way, but focusing on the positives around it and engaging your imagination to recreate the circumstances, and then ask, how would I behave if I was a successful entrepreneur, for example? If I went out on my own and no longer had a 9-to-5 job, or if I had that perfect partner, how would I feel? How would I think? How would I behave? And you start to get to the point where you feel the feelings that you're seeking in as much detail as possible, in as much specificity as possible, with as much color as possible. So that would be step one, to engage your imagination. Step two, to take action. Taking those feelings and letting it propel you to taking an action that's consistent with that person that you're seeking to become. What would I do if I was a successful blank? So ask yourself that question. Step three, and this is a very important point, because as we engage our imagination and as we take action towards our goals, the first thing that will happen is that the ego and our own insecurities and our own set of beliefs will start to trigger judgments. Most of them will be self-critical judgments in ourselves. And those judgments will keep us from taking further action, or we will overanalyze and overthink what those actions actually mean. We will focus so much on the outcome rather than on the experience that you're having on a moment-to-moment basis, based off of the decision to actually step into the shoes using the magic if. So consider practicing non-judgment and observing the experiences that you're having without giving it too much meaning. Because the meaning that we give is an arbitrary, subjective, relative decision that we make on what things actually mean and the interpretation that we give. We have no idea what things actually mean. But we decide, we make that decision. This means this. If this person doesn't call me back, it must mean that I am not worthy of a callback, rather than they may be going through something very, very difficult, or been very, very busy, or maybe not even a senior message. We give them meaning that will validate this lack of self-worth, if that is truly the limiting belief that we have. So set aside all judgment and just decide to take action based off of an instigating magic if and an engagement of our imaginations. Step 4 is have an expectation of magic. So moving from the place of a magic if, you are now living a magic present. And so you start to observe how things are starting to take shape in a very, very new way because you have changed, because you have stepped into that new experience of yourself, which is then reflected in your experience of the external world. And then finally, anchor in those magic moments as future reference legs. What do I mean by that? Think about it. A table has 4 legs. That's what makes it stand. If it had 3 legs, it wouldn't. It would wobble. If it has 2 legs, it wouldn't stand either. But it's got enough legs, enough reference legs to allow it to be solid and stable and to allow it to stand. So as you have those experiences in life that are starting to move you in that direction that you're seeking to go, and you start to celebrate the success around that, note it, actually anchor it, and refer to it in the future. So you're no longer going to tell yourself the story that it's not possible because it has already become possible in your life. And this applies to anything that you want. If you want to see wealth, start to anchor in the experiences that you have that are actually signs of abundance in your life. And as you have those experiences and as you consciously decide to acknowledge them, that anchoring experience will make you go back in the future, go back to that experience to be able to have you move toward having similar experiences in the future. So think about it. We primarily decide what things mean based off of the experiences that we've had. If we had a bad experience as a child, we then decide that we will have a bad experience in the present and in the future. We're told by our parents or by our superiors, don't do that, don't do this. So as you have those experiences, you're anchoring and you're creating reference legs that validate a negative self-worth rather than positive ones. So I look forward to hearing how you can engage the magic if. Remember to subscribe to this channel and like this video, and we will talk about other ways in which we can start to shift our state of being through utilizing our imagination, our physical experience of life, our energetic experiences, our relationships, and so many other ways. I'll see you in the next one.